Come on up.
So we have Mary Morris from HMC Architects, along with Kent Brown, our design manager for the master plan of Lake Elementary School. Update on status of that project. Oh, excuse me, and Principal Sturgis, sorry. When we presented the status last, earlier this year. Oh, I'm sorry. I have the wrong campus listed on there, but it is the Lake Elementary, my error. The project has continued to develop in the master planning. There were some meetings that were scheduled for earlier this year. The first of those occurred in about late March with the site committee, followed by a second one in late May. I think the site committee at that time asked to suspend any continuing meetings over the summer. As we rolled through the summer, it was recognized that there were some traffic considerations that needed to be explored with the city of San Pablo. Those meetings have been going on. The district's traffic consultant is Farron Pierce. And
Next time, can you have them here?
sure. Yeah, I'm happy to. I understand Mary understands the circumstances really well around that. The meetings have occurred through as recently as last week with the city of San Pablo. This represents sort of a model of what buildings might look like in the circulation. This slide represents the discussion just last week with the city in terms of how the circulation around the site might work. Maybe Mary can speak a little bit more to the detail of that.
Sure. In looking at various options for vehicular traffic at the site, we've discovered that it's quite tricky. As you know, the site is mostly landlocked.
Right.
The one street frontage that it does have is on Giant Road, which is currently a multiple lane, 35-mile-an-hour speed limit. However, when Farron Pierce did their study, their finding was that 85% of the people driving on that street are exceeding the speed limit substantially. And it was we had looked at one option being entering and exiting the site from Giant Road, and the community, the site committee said, that's not, we don't feel safe doing that. And it also wouldn't work well for pedestrians we would also want to enter the site from the controlled entry, because nobody's going to walk to school along Giant Road. The current traffic situation is that cars and pedestrians enter the site on 11th Street, which is at the center of the top of the site, and they exit on 12th Street, which is the street that's shown at the top of the site over to the right. The difficulty with that is that there isn't enough room for parking or effective drop-off in that area. And so for us to increase the parking and improve the effectiveness of the drop-off in that area, leaving that vehicular traffic flow pattern the same, we were in essence going to have to bisect the site. So there was going to have to be a big loop coming down 11th and then going back out either 11th or 12th, with a fair amount of area of the site area to the right-hand side of the parking and traffic, and a fair amount to the left-hand side. And that didn't seem like a good recipe for a cohesive site that the site would be able to control from a security standpoint and be able to observe who's coming and going. So at the last meeting that we had in May, a variation on this, which we referred to as option 4, was the one that was not the most popular, but after some discussion, it was the one that had nearly the most amount of positive support and 0 negative votes, whereas one of the other options had slightly more positive votes, but some very negative votes. So this was the solution that was, in essence, agreed to, and we've been working with the city since then to make sure that, and the traffic engineers, Farron Pierce, to make sure that we can modify it to make it work for the city and to make the traffic engineers have faith that it will work for the site as well. So what this does is it provides some options. People will still enter the street from, the site from 11th. That neighborhood is used to receiving that amount of traffic. They've lived with it for years. What this design does is it allows also those people to consider exiting out onto Giant Road if they want to, and we think some may want to because of where they may be going after they've dropped their students off. It also allows the option for those who might want to, particularly we're imagining members of the community who would use the soccer field on evenings and weekends, to enter the site from Giant Road because they may be coming from who knows where, all manner of different directions, not necessarily wending their way through the neighborhood. But it also provides the option for people to, vehicular traffic, to leave via 11th Street as well, if for those people who want to. There's still a little bit more work to be done on this site plan after the meeting we had on, was it Thursday of last week, Wednesday or Thursday of last week with the city, but they agree that a member of the traffic department of the city was there, and a member of the San Pablo Police Department representatives was there also, and they are in agreement that in general terms this is a reasonable and acceptable vehicular traffic flow. So our next step is to refine this a little bit in collaboration with Fair and Peers, and then we have another site committee meeting scheduled with the site for January 12th, where we will take back not only this refined traffic version, but a design for how to lay the buildings out on the site in relationship to it.
And that will be included in the master plan.
We are aiming for that we get buy-in at that meeting.